friends, it's Love to Inspired Handmade with me, Christina, and today is August 22nd of 2025. I am thrilled to come back and show you a fun new tutorial, and it is the double lower gatefold card. So this is the card, and then it opens up this way, then it opens up this way, and then you have this cute little sentiment on the pocket. Isn't that cute? Yes, I'm so excited to show this to you. This is going to be using our new autumn toile card. So I'm going to turn the camera down real fast and let us get started after I show you all the things that you're going to need to create this fun card alongside me. Uh-oh. Let's see. Hopefully I got the camera going right. And move this down, my grid paper up. Okay, is everybody good? Maybe, think? I'm gonna actually move my grid paper out of the way. Okay, so we have a few things that we're gonna need to get started, but before I do, I wanna show you this fun, this designer series paper is brand new. It's coming out in our new mini catalog. So we have this piece. Look at that, isn't that cute? I love that with the Darling Deers. It's great for masculine cards. It will be great. Yeah, it's just if you have hunters in your life, this is going to be the ideal thing. I also think that it's great for like the seasons coming up in fall. So it's a great fall paper as well. See? Ah, that's gorgeous. All right, the next thing is, let me flip it over so you can see the other side here. Look at that. I love the checkers to it. And then we have some, I'm not sure quite what this is. It kind of reminds you of barbed wire or some leaf print, but it's very pretty, very masculine. And then there's another one. So yeah, that's what this one is. It's all the things fall, right? Okay, so I have a few basic things. I'm also using, this is coming out soon too. Look at this. The Amber Autumn stamp set, and I'm going to be using this little pumpkin right here for this one. So how to get started: pick you a piece of colored cardstock, whatever you're using stamp set wise, and I'm going to be using Mossy Meadow for this one. Get all my pieces out of the way real fast, and I'm going to show you how to do this just before we kind of get started. I did go ahead and cut it and score it for you, but it's a little tricky as far as the cutting, the measurements and stuff goes. So I want to make sure that you get all the things going on here. And I feel like, hold on, hopefully I don't turn the camera off on you. I feel like our camera is crooked. Is it? Okay. Let me go down. All right. No, I went the other way. Sorry. Okay. No. Up close. So you're going to have your 5 by 10 and a half piece of cardstock, and you're going to score it at 3.5 and 7. Okay. Now the next thing you're going to do is take your paper trimmer, because this is where the flaps come in at. You're going to take your paper trimmer and you're going to put it on here. Let me see. You've got to be able to see what I'm doing. Which way do I need to go for you? I'm down here, so you need this side. Go in. All right, this is the side I'll be working off of. Okay, so you're going to take your paper trimmer, and now you have your score line right here, and now you're going to take this one and you're going to come up to 2 inches here, and you're going to cut it, because this is going to be, and you're only cutting it to the score line that you just made here. So cut, just like so. And then you're going to take it, let me make sure I've got the right side up. Yeah. And then you're going to cut it from the score line down. So ultimately you're going to be cutting this little piece off just like so. So now your cardstock has this. Now we're going to do the other side. So flip it over. Now what we're trying to get here is we're going to have a short side. Let me see, I think I'm too close in. What we're trying to get here is one side of our flap is going to be more narrow, and then this side is going to be a little bit wider, okay? So that's where it gets the fun folds going on. So turn it the opposite way, and this time go at 3 inches up to your score line. I can't see my score line. All right, then turn it and cut down that score line just to cut that little flap off, just like that. Now we're done with the paper trimmer. Okay, so when you fold it, you have this fold in, and then you're gonna have that fold in, and that's how it's going to look when you do your folds. Now we want to take our designer series paper, and you're going to need this one, and it's 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and that's going to be the one that goes right here on top of this. And then you're going to need 2 of these little fellas, and these 2 are at 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. So they go on, one's on the front and one's on the back. And then you're going to need 2 more. I may have told you that wrong. These may be the 2 3/4, 3 1/4, and then you have this one is 1 3/4 and 3 1/4. Okay. Now I'll have all these measurements redone up on my blog, so just bear with me on this. And then for your pocket, you're going to take, now you'll have a piece, once you cut this out of your cardstock, you're going to have a piece of cardstock left over, and that's where your pocket's going to come from. So this pocket will measure at 3 1/2 by 8 1/4, and then you're going to score it at 4. Once you've done your pocket, I'm going to move these up. Once you've done your pocket, go ahead and fold it over, and you will notice that it don't go all the way in half. You still have this little lip right here at the top of the fold. So that is correct. Now take your snips and snip down just to that little score line on both sides right here. Just like that. Now we're going to keep the shorter side of the little flaps. You remember we scored on both sides at 1/4 inch. So after you've done that, fold these 2 in, and you're going to cut this other side completely off. Now you can use your paper trimmer to do this, or you can fussy cut right down the score line, just like I'm showing you here. Either way, whichever ones you're more comfortable with. Okay, so when you fold your flap, it's gonna have that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and assemble this little fella right here. Now what we're going to do before we assemble this is we're going to take that piece of designer series paper that goes right here on the top of the pocket. Now this is the one that's 2 3/4 by 3 1/4, and it should fit perfectly right here. Now I'm going to use this one with my pattern, because I'm going to switch the patterns up so it all coordinates together, but it's off a little bit. Now when I do that, I'm going to put adhesive all the way around the 3 edges. But when I come to the top where I know I'm fixing to punch a hole out, so I'm just going to kind of do that so basically if you're using a punch, you don't get it all tackied up. But you can also, if you don't have a punch, you can use a die cut. This is going to be, I'm using a 1-inch circle punch to create this. Okay, let it stick. Let's see if I can get it centered. I'll come back down for you. Okay, so I'm using a 1-inch circle punch, and I'm just eyeballing it to where it looks like it's in the center, and I'm going to come halfway down here and I'm going to punch that out. So now I have for my pocket a little lip. Now you'll take your glue or whatever adhesive you're using and add it just to these little flaps that we kept on that we did not trim off, okay? So we're gonna go down those and then fold my flap over. I like to build this card from the inside center out, and you'll see just in a moment why I like to do so. So that's your pocket. I just love this paper. I can already tell you this is going to be my ultimate favorite bundle is the autumn trees and the amber autumn. I love creating fall cards anyway. So yeah, this is going to be fun, fun, fun. Now you're going to take this first piece of designer series paper that I told you, the 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and it's going to go on the inside here. So go ahead and attach it to the inside of your little pocket, or this is actually going to be where your pocket goes, okay? So we're attaching him. Next, you're going to take the pocket that you just built and you're going to add him on top of that. So we're doing some layering, and it would be really cute if you want. You can add I didn't. This is actually a thought as I'm creating this on the video. But you can tie some ribbon around it before you attach it if you would like, to add a little extra character to it. Wouldn't that be cute? Yeah, I think so. All right, so attach this to the center just like so. Let me turn it this way. What do you think? So this is how it's coming along. It's looking nice. Move this one out of the way. Now we're going to take and add the 2 pieces for the inside here. So I'm going to use this, but this time I'm going to use the same side as I did on the very background of my pocket. So it'll look like that, okay? Now one of those is 2 3/4 by 3 1/4, and the other one is 3/4 by 1 3/4. And you'll need 2 of each of those. So let's add this over here. It looks more complicating than it really is, and I think that's why I love this. Another reason why I like this card so much. It's different. Okay. Now you can, let's do our pocket real fast, or our insert to our pocket. So I'm going to move that little guy out of the way, and we're going to move this up right here. So I have 2 pieces here. This is Cajun Craze, and I measured it at 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then I have a piece of very vanilla cardstock, so I'm able to have a greeting on it. And that one's going to be at 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. So let me grab, I have my Cajun Craze ink, and I want to stamp on this before I do anything else. And I'm stamping "Blessed to have you in my life." Let's see. That didn't turn out too shabby. And next we can attach this to our Cajun Craze. So I'm going to add some adhesive here. And we'll attach it. Let me see if I can get it in the center before it dries. That was perfect. Okay, now I'm using the 1/8 little circle punch here, and that's what I'm going to use to poke my hoe out, because I want to add a little piece of ribbon at the top, and I'm just measuring it to what looks about like the center. You know, may not be, but maybe. Poke my hoe out. Now my ribbon, I'm using the Mossy Meadow ribbon with the gold in it. I love this ribbon. It's so, so cute. Now with it, I took my grid paper away because I'm using about I'm gonna use about 6 inches of the ribbon. This gives you plenty to work with to add to your top, and then I'm gonna use about 8 inches of twine. I don't have enough on that roll, so let's pull this one out. So let me measure it. We got 8 inches of twine. All right, perfect. So now all you have to do, especially for anyone that doesn't like to tie bows, I know there's some people that loathe bow tying. It doesn't really bother me that much, but just tie this through. Now you can either take the twine, I think that's, let's flip this over. You can take the twine, like I'm going to do now, and tie it around the end of your ribbon. You can tie a knot in it if you're not, you know, wanting to add a bow, but I think the bow is really pretty, so we'll give it a whirl. Let's see, I didn't really measure it to see how even each side was going to be, but it'll be fine. Okay, let's tie us a little bow around here, just like so, and then I'm going to trim this. And now let's move our little card back up here, and this is ready to slide into the pocket. See, ain't that cute? All right, so now let's add this other piece that we had left over here, because I'm going to add it to the front. Almost done. Add this one to the front, just like so. And now fold this piece over, and I'm going to add this one to the front. And you see how with the Designer Series paper, it kind of just, it flows with each other, right? I really like that. I like how it kind of goes together. And you can mix your papers up however you would like. The only other thing I want to add to this is just a little bit of pop, giving it a little bit more depth to the front. So, like I said earlier, I went ahead and cut out from this stamp set this adorable little pumpkin in the gourds and stuff. Isn't that cute? I really like that. And I stamped the thanks in Cajun Craze. The reason I went ahead and pre-done it was because I wanted to cut it out. I had to use the cutting machine to cut it out, and then I was going to color it. So I didn't want to take up time by doing all of that with you guys. So I'm going to add it here, but before I do, let me grab some dimensionals and add them to the back. Let's see how much this kind of sticks up. So I don't want none on the top. Get that in here. Now I'm using pieces here to piece it together, just like so. All right, let me take all this little paper off. And then just add it to the front. Let me see, do we want to put that on that side? I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and keep it that way. Okay, there you go. So all I'm gonna do now is fussy cut my thanks out. So I have my little thanks stamped here in the Cajun Craze, and I'm just going to take it and cut it out. Just like so. I really like how that looks. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I'm more formatted in how I cut things out, but I think this is, it just gives another fun look to it. So we'll add another little piece of dimension to the back of the thanks. Well, I guess it would help if I turned it around. And then the only thing we need now is, that's right, our beautiful embellishments. These pretty things here are just the fox glass dots. I just thought they really meshed well with our card front. So we will take a couple of these. And it's almost, because the paper and stuff is just a tad busy, that's really the only place I got. Okay, and there you go. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Isn't that fun? Look at that. And that you get you in that craft room and you start creating yourselves. Here's the other one again. I'm gonna move the camera down just a little bit just so that you can see these one more time. I done the happy birthday one, and with it, pull it out. Isn't that just it's so, I just love it. It's great for your masculine cards. Even if you're getting ready for fall, you can do so much with these cards. So this double lower gatefold card is today's demonstration. Thank you for tuning in for another day with me, and I hope that you return next week on August 29th, because it is our last Friday of August, you guys. Can you believe it? And don't forget that right now until the end of the month we're having 15% off of all of our in color products, so you definitely want to get in on all of that. There's a bunch of other things going on, so just make sure that you stay tuned so you don't miss out. Subscribe to my channel and ring the bell, and hey, make sure you give me some love and like or leave a comment, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye guys.